Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Transformers Cyberverse Power of the Spark Optimus Prime with Arc Power Spark Armor. So this is a much larger toy. All the others were either $15 or $25. This guy's $50. I found him at my local Target. As far as I know, he's the only one in this size class so far. And since we already did have an Optimus in the Elite class, this might be an easy pass for some people. But I thought it looked pretty cool. I thought the armor looked good, and I like the arc. I think that's a really cool inclusion since it was such a big part of the first season of Cyberverse was trying to find the arc. So kind of neat there. Kind of open packaging here. You can see that there's no plastic window. This is, I can put my hands in, touch all the stuff inside. Over here you have a cool picture of Optimus. Over here you have that standard Autobot group shot. Not really anything going on the bottom, not really much going on the top. Spin it around, and you can see that you have Optimus, who also has a truck mode. Then you have the arc, then it becomes the armor, and you can also put the arc on the back of his truck. He kind of hauls it around like a little trailer. So, kind of neat. I'm going to go ahead and get this guy out of the packaging here, and we will take a closer look. So here is Optimus with the Arc Power Spark Armor. Taking a look at the arc real quick, I think it looks pretty good. This piece here, the sword piece, comes separately, and what you do is you put it in between these two pieces, which will eventually cover the legs. And there's two tabs on both sides of the sword, and that pegs into the two legs and really keeps this thing together. It's a lot more cohesive with that sword pegged in. Otherwise, it's a little floppy, but I think it's kind of cool. Now, unfortunately, you can't really like stand it up like this because that piece does kind of stick out the bottom. So like you can't mimic it kind of taking off. But I mean, it's fairly simple, but it's got some nice paint applications. You have the blue here for the windows. You have some blue here on the side, a little bit of black here on the top. Nothing really going on underneath. And it's kind of hollow, but you'll see why later on. But yeah, it's a cool little arc. Obviously, it's not big enough for any figures to fit inside it or anything like that. I don't know, maybe you could jam a Micromaster under there or something like that, but it's really just kind of meant to look like the arc. So I think it's kind of cool. I'm going to put it off to the side for the moment so we can focus in on Optimus here. He's definitely big. He's got that standard kind of front of the truck butt plate that even the Elite Class one has, so apparently that's going around for Optimus in Cyberverse. But it's a decent little figure. I would say it's probably the same size as the Ultimate Class 1 that came out earlier. I don't have that handy to show off a comparison, but I would say it's probably about the same size. Trying to get a look at the head sculpt. Let me move the camera there. It's kind of your typical Optimus head sculpt. The head looks a little thin, I will say. It looks a little small in this body, but it makes sense because it has to have the armor and helmet and everything go over top of it, so I think it makes sense. But overall, I think he looks alright. I mean, he's got the nice blue there painted on for the windows. He is mostly red and gray, but he's got some silver paint here on the thighs. Legs don't really have anything going on. The plastic wheels are on there. Articulation-wise, head cannot move. It is stationary. Shoulders can go front to back. You can get out to the side in the shoulder. You can get a bicep swivel, 90 degrees in the elbow. The hands are stationary. As you can see, they are affixed in place. He does have a little bit of a torso swivel. It's really for the transformation, but you can certainly utilize it in robot mode. For the hips, out to the side, a little bit to the front, but again, because of this kind of crotch skirt belt, whatever you want to call it, kind of hinders it. Can go out to the side. The legs are stationary. He has no knee bend, even though it kind of looks like he does. He does, however, have ankle tilt. So that's interesting. Did not really expect this guy to have ankle tilt, but he does. Honestly, he's not bad. He's definitely bigger than he needs to be. I would have loved to have, you know, maybe a little bit bigger, like a Voyager class figure that has the armor, as opposed to like the Elite classes are kind of deluxe class size. So instead of giving me like a leader class with armor, it would have been nice to maybe have just like a Voyager class, and then you could put a little bit more paint apps and some more posability into them. But overall, I think the robot mode looks nice. Alright, so let's get right into the spark armor combination. Gonna go ahead and unpeg the legs from the side of the sword. Put that off to the side. You can take the sword out, slide the other leg off, and basically how this goes back together, you can see that there's a little tab slot right there, and this tab on the side here pegs into that, and then there's the same on the other side for this one, and then you peg them together onto the sword. So you take this piece, put that off to the side. You'll see inside the legs that there's another piece, and you lift that out and do the same for both. So now that you have all the pieces taken off, you are ready to go. First thing you want to do, take this guy. He does have heels that you can flip out. Now, if you like the look of the heels out all the time, nothing preventing you from leaving them out in robot mode. But the directions definitely tell you to flip them out for the armor mode. So you're going to take the sword. You can see that there's a peg right there, and that's going to peg into this peg hole in the side of his arm. Now you can see that the peg hole's on either side, so you can put the sword on whichever arm you prefer. Directions just show this side. It really doesn't matter. The pieces you took outside of the legs, you're going to flip them up, and then you can see that there is a large hole right here, which is going to go over the smokestack. And then there's a tab right here, which is going to peg into this tab here on the top of his shoulder. So you're going to drop this over the smokestack and then peg that in. Do the same with this one. And that gives him his shoulder armor. Now the cool thing about the missile pods, if you want to angle them down, you can. Nothing's stopping you. But you can pop them out to the side so it looks like he's firing them, which is pretty cool. I'm going to rotate the camera up so I can get a better top angle for this. Okay, so next you're going to take this large piece, and you can see that there's these two clips here on the back, and that's going to clip onto the pieces near where his head's going to fold into later. We'll get there. But peg that in, just like that. So now he's got a big arc backpack. This section will fold up. Like this, and kind of drop over like that. And then sometimes this doesn't fold all, it's supposed to fold down, but you want to make sure that there's a little piece inside here that can get caught. So you want to make sure that that's down. And then as this comes around, this clip here will peg under his top part of his chest. And there you go. There is the chest plate and helmet. I think the helmet looks really cool. I actually like that quite a bit. And the detailing and the paint applications in the chest, I think, look really good. You can actually pull this tab here, and it'll make this kind of look like it's thrusting forward. Let me rotate this up. So you can see that there are what is made to look like little gun barrels deep inside there. So I'm assuming that when you do this... Why does it keep doing that stuff? It's supposed to be like it's firing. I kind of wish that they alternated. I feel like that would mimic firing more so. But, yeah. And then the last step is to just come down to the legs, and you just slide these right over top, and they just peg in. Very simple. And there you go. The legs are, like I said, that's why they're completely stationary, because these pieces just peg onto the side. But I think it actually looks pretty cool. I like the look of the legs. I really like the look of the helmet and the chest piece. I think the gun pods on the side look pretty cool over here. The sword looks good. The guns up top are decent. I think it's neat that it has this battle feature here. But yeah, I would say my favorite part is definitely the torso and the helmet. I just think that looks really cool. Really nicely painted, nicely detailed. Kind of a matrix thing going on here in the center. And that helmet is really, really cool. I like that a lot. So when you're transforming them back, most of the stuff comes off pretty easy, but I wanted to show you to take off the chest plate. You push this down, and there's a little tab right there where my finger is. You press that down, and that will release this so that you can lift this all the way back up. And then this will peg down into that and then kind of hang there. And then once you have that, that can just come right off. Sometimes this doesn't stay together super well, but it's cooperating right now, so that's good. The rest of the pieces, you just pop them right off the same way you put them on. Prime's transformation is fairly simple. Turn them around, start with rotating the head back, and that'll just pop right down just like that. You're going to kind of move the arms just a little bit out of the way so that you can spin them along that kind of upper joint that I showed you earlier. You're going to come around to the back. You're going to unpeg the torso area from the plate that's the front of the cab. And when you do that, it's going to kind of show you this giant like accordion joint. You can go ahead and just peg the legs together. If you had the heels out, make sure you flip them back in. And then you're going to kind of just bring this down in this area, but hold on for a sec. And just like every Prime you've probably ever transformed in your life, you're going to bring the shoulders back and then bring the arms front. Now what you want to do, and this is where it gets, I don't want to say tricky, but you just have to be cognizant of what's going on. Let me move this camera down a little bit. So you flip out these panels. So you can see you have two tabs here, which are going to peg into the inside of the plate here. But you also have a tab here, which is going to peg in on the side of the wheel well right there. So you kind of just have to get this all to work. So bring that around. I think it's easier to peg into the chest plate first. But it can be somewhat annoying to get all these tabs lined up. So there we go, that's good. Alright, that actually wasn't too bad. So as you can see, the front plate of the cab is pegged into these two sections here, and then also underneath, the two tabs on the inside of the body are pegged in. And that's pretty much it. You can kind of push that down a joint just to kind of make it look a little better. His legs are definitely too long. I wish there was some way to kind of fold this in, but the way this is supposed to work is you bring the arc in, and the same two clips that you used to clip to his back, you're going to clip onto these two pegs right here, and that's why it's kind of hollow inside, because his feet will kind of hide up in there. And so you just, did I get that? Yeah, I guess that's, I feel like it clipped on better before. Let's see what I'm doing wrong here. Oh, I'm just missing it. There we go. Okay, so there you go. You clip those onto his legs, and now he's hauling the arc around. It's not bad. I mean, it definitely rolls very nice, and I do like the look of the arc like being hauled by him instead of a trailer. The front of the cab looks decent. Nice paint applications, good detail. This is mostly just molded in gray, but you have some yellow. You have that blue from the windows previously. So, yeah, it's actually not bad. It's, you know, not the best truck, but it looks neat with the arc attached, I do say that. Like the Autobot symbols. Yeah, not too bad. I think this Prime is a decent toy. He's definitely way bigger than he needs to be. I really do wish they had made the robot like maybe Voyager sized, and then they could like use the extra money to give him maybe better paint applications, more articulation, something like that, or even just make the toy cheaper. Use the same toy but make it smaller, and then have it be like, you know, $30 instead of $50, something like that. But for what you get, I think it's decent. The robot mode is perfectly fine. Doesn't have a ton of articulation, but it has enough. I think it looks good in both modes. The truck mode is not amazing. I think it's a little too long, but then once you attach the arc, I think it looks a little bit better proportioned. The arc itself is kind of neat. I mean, it would have been really cool if they could have made it so like maybe a small figure or something could fit inside, but we also don't really have Micromasters as part of the Cyberverse line, so I think that kind of makes sense. But I really do like the combination of Prime with the armor. I think it looks really cool. Love the helmet, love the chest plate. The sword's neat. The shoulder guns are kind of cool. I wish that they kind of alternated when you pressed that button so that they kind of looked like they were pulsating back and forth, but it's not bad. They could have done a little bit more to make those gun barrels inside the shoulder cannons stand out. Maybe even just paint them black would have helped. Um, but again, these are just nitpicks. It's not a perfect toy, but I think there's fun to be had. Should you grab this one at the full price of $50? That's going to be up to you. If you need to have it, then go for it. I don't think you'll be disappointed. But if you wait and find this guy later on clearance for like 25, 30, I think that's going to be the perfect price point. And I think he's definitely worth 25, 30. So maybe hold out. I don't know how he's going to hold out, or he's not really shelf warming. I always go to Target and I see like one or two on the shelf, but not a ton. I don't know how many come in a case. I would guess probably two per case, maybe three, uh, four tops. I don't know. I would assume it's probably two in a case if I had to guess. But yeah, I think he's fun. I think he's a little bit more expensive than he needs to be. But like I said, I'm not super disappointed or anything. I think it's a fun little toy, and I really do like the armor combination. Comparing him to the Elite class, which one do I think is better? For the value, the Elite class is probably better. But like I said, not to count out this guy, I think there's definitely fun to be had here. But I would definitely probably wait for maybe a sale or definitely for clearance. I think he's definitely worth that. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.